Hi guys, welcome to the Thinking Crypto YouTube channel. I hope you're healthy and doing well. On this channel, we cover the news, facts, and sentiments about the crypto market. We also interview many of the folks who are building and investing in the asset class. I've interviewed Mark Yusko of Morgan Creek Capital, CZ, Binance's CEO, and many others. And we are soon approaching 40,000 subscribers. So if you're new here, please hit that subscribe button as well as the thumbs up button. Guys, we are seeing Gold Rush 2.0. And many of you know the U.S. history of the California Gold Rush, which took place in 1848 to 1855. It was a significant time in U.S. history, and many people made their fortunes. A lot went to the west, to California, to mine gold, and like I said, many made their fortunes, and it was a significant time. So what is taking place now that is significant about Gold Rush 2.0? Well, we are seeing a lot of institutional players flocking to Texas here in the United States to build out some of the world's biggest mining farms. And it's a lot of institutional money putting it in there. It's not regular people, right? It's companies putting millions, buying hundreds of acres of land, and a lot of different companies are setting up shop. And I'm going to go through the details, so watch the video to the end and why I think this could lead to the $1 million Bitcoin price. Now, I'm not saying that's going to happen tomorrow. The 1 million Bitcoin price, if we look at the halving chart, right, could be 10 to 20 years from now, right? So just think about that, and I'm going to show you the facts, not my emotions or feelings. Of course, there are no certainties when it comes to investing, but we look at probabilities, right? We look at the facts that we have right now, the data and the trends. So first, to set the tone, this past week, we saw Paul Tudor Jones, a legendary hedge fund Wall Street investor, said he's buying Bitcoin and said crypto is the fastest horse in the current environment. And why is that? Because it's a new asset class and it's on the rise. It's not fully correlated like other asset classes are to the economy or to the stock market, right? As oil is, as the stock market itself and other types of investments. So it is certainly a new opportunity and an opportunity that's on the rise. It's a disruptive technology. And you know, he's not the first, right? And he's not going to be the last, but he's a significant person there, right? And news was making the big headlines on CNN and Bloomberg and so forth. But we also see that TD Ameritrade started doing their thing, right? Since about a year and a half ago, adding cryptocurrency trading to their investment products. So look at that, right? Pretty significant. Fidelity, which has $1 trillion of assets under management, decided to start Fidelity Digital Assets. So I put the question to you to get you thinking, why did they do this? Why? And why are the crypto hedge funds seeing record-breaking investments into their fund? Grayscale saw record inflows, right, in Q1 of 2020. And you think about that in the current economic climate, guys. And they had doubled their previous quarterly high of $254.8 million. So we're talking millions. And when you combine these numbers, you get into the billions. We saw Andreessen Horowitz, $515 million fund. What is going on here? Why are the people investing in these crypto funds? To some people, crypto is fake. It's a scam, a Ponzi scheme. But it is not. And a lot of the big money, the Wall Street players, the traditional investors like Paul Tudor Jones are recognizing that. It is the new asset class. And change is always hard for people, you know, when new technology comes around. You know, the internet faced the same thing. People are very skeptical about it, skeptical about internet companies and who would use them and all that. But look at where we're at now, right? And this is really the opportunity of a lifetime. And Bitcoin is leading us here, right? So like I said, Gold Rush 2.0, guys, a lot of money being put into Bitcoin. So some additional information. Bitcoin, primarily, its mining, has been controlled by China for years. Another question I want to pose to you is China, which is a very, they have strict rules. They're under the communist government. And why have they allowed Bitcoin mining for years and years to have Bitmain and the other Bitcoin mining pools there in China, just using up the energy and mining and mining and mining? And we know, once again, the majority of that is being in China, and they've pretty much controlled Bitcoin, right? So why did they allow that, guys? I want you to think about that. Put your thinking cap off, thinking cap on, not off. So the new report shows China dominates Bitcoin mining. Is this a sign of worry? So this is just to set the tone. Well, all of a sudden, we started seeing in 2019 and now even into 2020, all of a sudden, hey, these institutional players coming in and say, hey, we're going to set up the world's largest Bitcoin mining in Texas, in the United States. Why is that? And they're not the only one, right? And we see that big players are invested. SBI Group, GMO, will rent capacity and invest into these companies. We see that Peter Thiel, who's a billionaire, right, founder of PayPal and all that, he's a big Bitcoin bull. His respective startup, which is Layer 1, is also setting up in Texas. Right? We've seen the headlines. I've shared it with you guys here. And they're saying Texas is the best place to mine Bitcoin. And here we're seeing from MIT, right? So you're not just seeing this from just crypto blogs. You're seeing this from different news outlets and people who cover different topics here in the industry talking about this. So, for example, how Texas wind boom has spawned a Bitcoin mining rush. And they are seeing that wind power, solar power, and so forth, and overall low energy costs is becoming appealing to Bitcoin miners. So that's the first part, right? Texas is becoming the hotspot, kind of like how California was with the gold rush. But these institutional players are putting in millions to set this up. Why? Because they expect a price increase. They're not looking at this $9,000 Bitcoin right now, $10,000. They are looking at the charts of the mining halving. And the halving, guys, historically has resulted in higher prices, not instantaneously, not at the point of the halving. So we have the halving coming up on Monday or Tuesday, depending on the timing of everything. And people are expecting higher prices. I personally think the price is not going to do anything spectacular. I think we'll see a correction, actually. And we will then slowly work our way up, right? The bull market will be triggered and we'll work our way up. And then we'll see the next parabolic run up. And we'll see higher prices than we did in 2017. Because the data does not lie. Follow the trends, right? Not my opinion or feelings, but look at the data. The data does not lie. And if you follow this trajectory, it is showing that, for example, the next potential price, not financial investment advice, could be $120,000 in that range. And then when you look years and years beyond that, the fourth halving, $500,000, and then years and years and years after that, the fifth halving, we could be after that near the millions, right? And you have to not just think about the next 6 months or the next year. I'm talking about 20 to 30 years from now, we could see that $1 million Bitcoin. And I know some people would be like, well, I can't wait that long. Well, don't wait. But those who wait and have waited for many different cycles, going through bull, bear, and accumulation phases, will make money, just like the people who made money in 2017, right? And if you're patient enough to go through the next cycle, the potential to make money is there. So that is why I hold Bitcoin in my portfolio. So it doesn't matter if you love or hate Bitcoin. The data does not lie. Follow the money. Follow the money here, guys. A lot of investments, and like I said, it's happening on both fronts. In the actual acquisition of the Bitcoin, right, by Wall Street players and big institutional clients, and as well as the mining of it. So something significant happening here, and you really got to put your thinking cap off. I keep saying thinking cap off. On, right? You really got to put your thinking cap on and follow the money. Now, something else that's very interesting here, guys. A lot of energy companies are using their excess energy to mine Bitcoin. So it's not just the institutional players. We have seen even close to where I live, New York Power Plant is mining $50,000 a day worth of Bitcoin. And they're doing that with the excess energy. This is happening now, guys, and it's happening around the world. Here, a Russian nuclear plant is renting space for energy-hungry Bitcoin miners. So, and in the current situation that we find ourselves in, where oil and certain demand for energy has reduced, how are these companies going to make their money? They're going to start using that excess to mine Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, and specifically Bitcoin because it has the highest upside as of right now, right? We're seeing the articles, and many of the analysts are saying, like, for example, oil companies will dominate Bitcoin mining in 5 years. I believe that's a very factual statement. So oil and gas companies, because we're already seeing it. And like I said, these articles are already seeing people are doing. They're using the excess gas and whatever to start mining Bitcoin. So all of these factors, big institutional investors, big money buying the Bitcoin itself, right? A lot of financial products being built behind Bitcoin, and a lot of these existing infrastructures of energy creation are going to use that to mine Bitcoin to help them be more profitable. And that is why I'm saying, guys, follow the data here, because they are looking at the same thing and expecting higher prices, because you're going to have the supply and demand shock, right? Where simple supply and demand economics, where the supply gets cut in half over time, and there's more demand because the demand is coming from big institutional investors, Wall Street. They're going to market it to the average Joe and mainstream, and more people are going to FOMO in eventually. And that is what's going to lead us to the path to higher prices. And I believe, once again, years and years and years from now, we can hit that 1 million. So I will personally be holding some Bitcoin and leave it for my kids, right? And my daughter, or whatever, in a Ledger hardware wallet over time. But I will be cashing out some at the higher prices. I have my phases and numbers, right? I am thinking long term, and that's the way you should look at it as well. Now, do your own research. This is not financial or investment advice, but just to get you to think about what are the possibilities here. And I didn't share, this is not something I'm pulling out of the air. I'm showing you the money being put into these things, the actual building.